Welcome back, people, to another Let's Play in history. We're also going to talk about elections as well.
Suit up, partner. Almost time for the semi-final. Stay sharp, Sly. Iceland and Belgium will be at each other's throats up there, but you're still outnumbered. Relax, Mom. This is gonna be great.
Plane battle.
Okay, now, the winner here is the last man standing. Lead your opponent and watch your six. I know how you hate being burned alive at 500 feet.
Not good. Okay, I gotta focus, people. I am terrible at a lot of things.
Lie down underneath one of the bridges and
Ah.
up some more rounds.
Before I even focus on that, finally watched that Midway movie by Robert Zemeckis. And pretty entertaining. Obviously, it glorifies a lot of the stuff and exaggerates a lot of the stuff, but oh god. But certainly not like Pearl Harbor, I'll put it that way. And certainly a lot more pro-American than I think a lot of people would remember or recognize, with a lot of these movies coming out today. Even the American war movies coming out today are a little different than
Earth Island, Sly. You made it to the final 10. Keep it up.
what it appears to be. Obviously, it talks about the Battle of Midway, the Japanese bombings of Pearl Harbor. It's a lot of people in it too. Seriously, what is my plane made out of?
Almost there. Only 3 more left. It's mano a mano.
Where is that last plane? There we go. Woohoo! That's just how we do.
Thanks to Sly's fight, we're officially in the Acres Finals. Our opponents, Team Mugshot and Team Black Baron. The rules in the finals are a bit different than normal. Whoever takes out the defending champ gets the title. Hear that, boys? It's all about taking down the Baron. Our only real competition will be Mugshot himself. We need to remove him from the competition. Here's the plan. I'll challenge him to a fist fight out in the town square. Sly, you wind and lure Inspector Fox to the same place. When the two meet, the sparks are sure to fly. With some luck,
Anyways, the election of 1944, folks. See, how do you have these pictures already without... Okay, I'm getting way too off topic with it.
commands an enormous team of flyers and has been known to bring in a squad of limp gunships when things look grim. The answer to our problem isn't obvious, although it is potent. Behold, Lupus Gigantormus. I'll drug the beast so that the guru...
But it's against FDR, this time with a new vice presidential candidate, Mr. Harry Truman himself, against the Republican candidate Thomas Dewey with his running mate John Bricker. Thomas Dewey was the Republican governor of New York. I forgot who Bricker was. I think he was a senator from Ohio. There's a lot of people trying to keep things up. I know certain people, places, and things. Voter turnout, I do remember, was a lot lower, obviously, because a lot of people were fighting in the war, World War II. FDR was our wartime president, and a lot of people were frustrated with what was going on with the war while also supporting it, and they were just deeply frustrated with how a lot of the things were going, to be honest. Whenever Bentley gets a boost upgrade, I'm going to definitely be getting that.
It's time we dealt with Mugshot. We can't risk him taking down the Baron before you in the finals.
Not to mention he deserves a little payback for what he did to our aircraft hangar.
True. Since Mugshot's assault, the Baron
Long story
has
short,
been
Roosevelt does win this election, about a 430 electoral votes to Dewey's 90, almost 100. Vote share is much closer, though. 25 million votes for Dewey and the Republicans, 22 million. Now, this is a complicated election. The Democrats in the committee and the convention just wanted someone different, but FDR had too much juice. Dewey was antagonistic towards the New Deal, seeing a lot of these policies actually being counterintuitive. A very popular governor from New York, mind you, at least relatively speaking. Little tidbit, he will be the Republican nominee in 1948. It's a very complicated election, but Republicans do pretty much have some juice. They have some things going on. That being said, polls had largely been towards FDR by at least 3 to 4 points. Which, ironically, is I think is where it ultimately ended up being at. But it's where the states come in is where the other factor comes in. And other third-party candidates, and a lot of people really just being undecided because polls are still a work in progress. But largely speaking, on average, it's about, let's say Fox News did a poll, and it was like 47% FDR, 43% Republican, and the rest are undecideds, or third parties.
My head is spinning from
Hang to my breath helps maintain my personal space.
I'm sure you wouldn't win in the fight anyway. You've got such a long, sad history of losing to the Cooper gang.
I could whip your whole gang with one arm if you jerks would sit still. Look at these arms. I'm unstoppable.
It's pretty jacked, not gonna lie.
Your
Ooh, let's try his mother.
was a broken down tub of junk with more gentleman callers than the operator.
Nobody talks that way about my mother. Nobody.
That's how you strike it.
Like you're gonna get broken down even more.
Town Square, 5 minutes. Please don't be late.
Now, like I said, Democrats pretty much just had control of everything. They had all the juice, they had all the power, they had all the influence, and it's very tough for them, for the Republicans to get any grasp of anything.
Lead her back to the town square.
Oh, it's gonna be going by so much easier now. Thank God. Do you have anything in your back pocket? No, you don't. Well, but you do.
Hey, Inspector Fox. Still looking for a date to the prom?
Oop. Oh, she fast. Oh, she very fast. She very, very fast.
Blasted fly. Why run? Why not face me like a real man?
Skip leg day, though.
Hey! You're that cop hag that busted me back in Mason City.
Mugshot, alias Two Gun Tony, also known as Meathead Mugshot. 7 foot 3 inches, 324 pounds, wanted in
Good Lord.
with 13 outstanding warrants for your arrest. And yeah,
What a didactic memory she has.
cop hag that put you away back in Mesa.
Well, wise guy. Lady. Feel like going for another shot at the title?
It's my duty to put you behind bars. That, and I enjoy making tough guys cry like the stupid babies they really are.
I ain't no stupid baby.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Going down, Mugshot. You broke the law. And you will face the crime and punishment you deserve. You're criminal scum.
Mother, that you? I'm sorry. I didn't know they was yours.
Looking this idiot'll take all night. Oh well, I'm sure Cooper won't make his move anytime soon.
Carmelita. I'm the fastest man alive. Make sure you don't get back up. Oh, there is the wolf.
Aha! A perfect feral specimen of lupus.
Now this election's pretty close. Dewey campaign's pretty hard against the New Deal, although a lot of people, again, still like Roosevelt, still like his voice, and he's getting us through this war, although there's many, many, many hiccups. A lot of the Midwestern states show a lot of disdain. There's also a lot of...
Bloodthirsty
The biggest problem for Republicans is that there's not a lot of trust with them.
which, of course, means fewer enemy pilots flying.
If there was another serious alternative, Roosevelt easily loses this election. But there is no serious alternative. There is no serious individual. Like, hypothetically, if, like, Eisenhower and that level of prominence had come in, he wins pretty decisively. In a contested election, but definitely, like, he wins pretty strongly.
Sounds okay. You can hang back and shoot him in the distance.
Well, given the weight of the darts, I'll need to sneak up behind him and take a shot within a few meters.
Eaters?
Quit trying to freak me out and put the guru on the binocular. After I put the wolf to sleep, it'll be up to you. Thanks, Guru. You always know just what to say.
Good lord. Is the wolf gonna react? Nope. Running.
He's caught your scent. Get out of there.
I can get him.
No impact.
Oh, it has to be behind him.
There's behind
Oh god.
fire. Otherwise, the darts
It's a real nasty wolf. Yeah, I should have expected that.
have to get closer for a good shot.
Good lord. Come on.
Your dart was out of range.
That wasn't close enough? What is this game? Okay, that one's close enough. Sorry. A lot of family stuff going on right now. That's what you're hearing.
Good shot.
This election's, like I said, could have been very competitive. Could have been very close.
Nice one, Bentley. Nice work.
There we go.
The skunk bomb is kicking in. He's almost asleep. Guru, you're up. You should be able to possess the giant wolf now that he's out. Poke down these thugs.
Good lord. Not a good start. Oh, come on. come on. Seriously, where are all the bad guys? Ugh. Do 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 do. There we go. Yeah, run away. Take that. Okay, let's try again.
Hold down these thugs.
I think we can do this a little more cleanly. And I think I got a grasp of the controls now. Man, the guru's a liar. He's definitely for all this violence.
Keep it up. That's 10 fewer pilots in the finals tomorrow.
Come here, piggy, 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 piggy. Ah.
Just 3 more to go. 2 more and we're set.
Crap! Oh my god. Okay.
Hold down these thugs.
Okay. Okay. Just breathe. Just breathe. Third time's the charm. This is, I'm guessing this is karma for me, destroying all the kangaroo family lives. Let's come back here. Maybe they've respawned at this point.
Keep it up. That's 10 fewer pilots in the finals tomorrow. Just 3
I'm gonna avoid bodies of water like the plague. Except that one. That one seems okay.
pilot, and it's a done deal.
Almost scared me there for a second. Boom!
Excellent. That should even the odds tomorrow in the finals.
Okay, so I do have to go back. So Bentley does have the hover upgrade. Sweet. Okay, now that I can focus. Now I think the Republicans' in their plan was take back some of the Northeast and get the Midwest states. I think that's their plan and their objective, because a lot of those states end up being winnable. But unfortunately, the policies that they're going for make it far more difficult than necessary. Because I think they've largely already given up on certain states. Like a big one would be. Oh, he does have it. Ooh. I do have the alarm clock. Sweet. Should probably start using these more. California's pretty much gone at this point. So are the more southwestern states. Arizona's kind of gone. New Mexico's kind of gone. So their main focus is we're going to win. We're going to win the Midwest and the Northeast. And really, in a lot of ways, it's kind of their only real choice, chance, and option. Unfortunately, the election does not go their way. They do win a couple Midwestern states, Colorado, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, all those states. Ohio's a big one that they do barely win. But the big problem is that a lot of the South is still very strong, and a lot of the northeastern states, which take up a majority of the electoral college at this point, at least 200 plus votes, like they don't swing, unfortunately. I'll give you an example. Maryland's a big one that's decided by about 20,000 votes or so. I haven't done this in a while. Oh, crap. I like these cool little additions. Massachusetts, another good example. That was decided by about, I don't know, just under 100,000 votes. Maryland decided by about 20,000. Although it's not a northeastern state, another midwestern state that they desperately needed was Michigan. That was decided by about 20,000 votes. Like, these are real vote margins that are easily winnable if you just target the right demographics and the right groups. Which Republicans unfortunately do not, and they do not have the ability to do so, at least yet. Missouri is another big Midwestern state that they do lose by about 30,000 votes. Which I'm pretty sure one of the big reasons why Roosevelt had chosen Truman, other than him being a differential kind of just, he's kind of in our bag establishment type of candidate, was, I think there was, which I don't understand this belief for some reason that is so paramount, that vice presidential candidates have such a strong quote unquote influence in determining elections in certain states. The data, just from my understanding, just isn't there to really support that. A lot of it's just conjecture. There are certain instances where where certain states need, certain states or certain groups of people need a specific candidate that's going to help. I think with, I don't want to say the brand, but at least shore up the party's ideological perspective. I think there's an argument for that, which I'll get to in later elections. Because a lot of people point out, like Kennedy, when he runs in 1960, which we'll talk about soon, the biggest reason why he chooses LBJ, for instance, is because it shores up like Texas and a bunch of the Southern Bloc and vote who are skeptical of, well, a Catholic running for the presidency. And I just don't think that's true. I think Kennedy was going to win Texas regardless. And on top of that, it's only boosted and solidified by the reality that Kennedy was... Uh-oh. Well, that's not good, people. Let's try this again, and hopefully it doesn't freeze up. Otherwise, I gotta figure this thing out. I do apologize. This is very unprofessional of me. Do. Come on, come on. Why don't you hit me?
Excellent. Now for the aircraft control tower.
Because, unfortunately, just the Midwest and the West is lost. Some states do go back to them that are very needed. Ohio's one of them. But largely, like I had explained before, they just didn't have the voter group. They didn't have the demographic base. And they lose a lot of states that a lot of people kind of, I think, assumed that they would either have a good and or competitive advantage winning. New York being one of them, but which they lose by about 300,000 votes. New Jersey losing by about 10,000. Like, I mean, these are real tight margins, and you need every single vote that you can get, and they just don't get it. Oh, God. God. That wasn't glitches. That was just me being a terrible gamer. Oh, God. Just kill me already. Just kill me already. Good Lord. Come on. Come on. Come on. Urgh. So good. Pennsylvania is decided by about 80,000 plus votes. West Virginia is decided by about 40,000 plus votes. I mean, this was a winnable election. And this is one of those elections that people look at the final numbers, and I'm just telling you, like, it's not what it appears to be, I think, personally. But FDR technically wins his 4th consecutive term as president, even though he's basically just in hiding and old and decrepit and about to die, and Truman's the one that's really campaigning. And a lot of people do like Truman. You know, he seems like a working class, down-to-earth kind of dude, and there's at least a good personality with him. Strong Southern fella.
Put on your helmets, 'cause it's time for Operation Turbo Dominant Eagle. In just a few hours, Team Iceland and Team Belgium will begin fighting it out.
Well, here we'll talk about the election of 1948, folks.
Step 1 of my plan. Sly, use the
The election in 1948 is a very complicated one. Post-World War II, United Nations. Harry S. Truman is the Democratic candidate with his running mate Alvin Barkley, I think. Berkeley? Is it Barkley or Berkeley? What's his name? I'm gonna say Barkley. I think he was House representative from Kentucky. And then Thomas Dewey, yet again, with, Earl Warren. This time, a very prominent individual in future Chief Justice Earl Warren, mind you, who I believe was a congressman from California. And then there's another third-party individual, Strom Thurmond. I forgot his vice presidential running mate, but from South Carolina, who's an advocate for states' rights. He's a very complicated person, put it that way. And I mean, not in a good and a bad way, but without a hesitation, very complicated historically. But those are primarily the three. And I only say Strom Thurmond because he takes a large contingent of the Southern vote, and in particular the Southern vote because he ended up taking like 3 or 4 states, even though he gets 2% of the popular vote. But I'll explain this election. Truman wins decisively, wins about 300 electoral votes versus Dewey's 1 in 190-ish. The popular vote total is going to 24 million for Truman. Dewey gets about 21 million. Strom Thurmond wins about 40 electoral votes. He wins about 4 southern states, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Alabama, and of course South Carolina, which is his state.
Where'd you get these trackers? They look kind of funny.
Now this is a very complicated election. Truman wasn't initially the wanted nominee. There's a lot of different people trying to fight for it.
Excellent. The first tracker's in place. If I'm not mistaken, there should be a pressure vent near the front of the aircraft. It might be just the thing to
Most notably, Democratic presidential nominee James Roe from New York. I believe it is the same Roe that you would think of. Crap, I'm not gonna have enough. I gotta use some strategery here. Come on, I gotta have enough. I'm not gonna have enough. Should have waited till they got closer. And Dewey is the, I guess in a lot of ways, the Republican darling at this point. So he's got the most pull. Because it's either Dewey, other Republicans are fighting within themselves as usual. There's a push for Robert Taft, who's the conservative candidate. Dang it, I'm not gonna make it. Really? Ugh. Whatever. There's even a push for Douglas MacArthur being the war hero that he is, although there's a war hero that he is, although he largely declines to run. Eisenhower gets his name thrown in there, but he wants to just chill and retire. It's a very contested nominating process, and ultimately it's kind of like, how do I put it? It's a little like, I guess, Kerry, when he gets the nomination. It's kind of like, oh, okay, you're kind of it. Oh, come on. Like, he's just got enough of a pull to actually make the push for it. And unfortunately for Republicans, they kind of got a boost into the polls early and kind of got lazy. And because polls initially did have Dewey up by a large amount, almost by like a large degree. It was almost decided like it was going to be him. People were dissatisfied with Democrat policies, quote unquote, and they were ready to move on and do something a little bit different. And Republicans wanted to try and capitalize on it, which they didn't do it successfully enough. No matter how many positive newspaper articles you could write, it's very different when you have people who are when you have a presidential candidate like Truman who sees himself losing to the polls and decides, you know what, I'm going to travel across the country and I'm just going to, hey, vote for me. I'll do this, do that, yada yada. Like, it's one thing to write a newspaper article, but it's another to actually see the guy and actually making concerted effort to be able to do something.
Don't worry. If there's one thing I'm good at, it's rolling and breaking stuff.
Oh, Murray. Oh.
Keep it up. The falling blades are dangerous, but they're perfect cover for this operation.
Alright, gotta be careful, Murray. Oh. Oh, they are falling. But that's basically what happens. Truman he sees he's losing in these polls and is basically just like, I can't let that happen. I will not let that happen. And Democrats, seeing that they're really down for the first time, like actually down by their own internal polling, and like, oh, we have to make a real switch, because the Midwest is going to be a lot more of a hotly contested kind of thing than I think even they've realized. And not to mention, too, Strom Thurmond having such a strong candidacy in the South leads a lot of people to believe that a lot of those southern states are going to be going and swinging a lot. Not just those four, but a lot. And that was going to hurt the Democratic Party. It does not go that way, though. Does not. Because whatever Truman did to campaign ultimately works out incredibly well in his favor. And he swings a lot of states towards his side that are very closely contested. Some examples, for instance, that are pretty closely contested is a lot of states out in the West. California being the obvious example. Where's the Baron? Oh, is that the Baron? think that's the Baron. But a great example is California, which goes not heavily, but it's such a highly contested toss-up state that, like, I wouldn't be shocked if they had to do like 10,000 recounts, because that's like by about 10,000 votes in a state that had about 4 million or so people voting in that election. I think it's decided by about 10,000 or so votes.
Gunships, converge on my position and destroy the Cooper aircraft. Send in a spare plane.
Another state, Colorado, decided by about 20 or 30,000 votes, and some of the southern states that don't go to Thurman do go to Truman. Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, etc., etc. But a lot of the Midwestern states are very hotly contested. They're all decided between 10 to 30,000 votes. Iowa's a great example because that's decided by about 20,000 votes, and that's a pretty big state. Massachusetts is a little bit less contested, but still by a pretty decent margin.
I beat you.
Ohio's another very hotly contested one because that's decided by less than 10,000 votes, and that's 25 electoral college votes. Just that's a lot, you know.
Beware, my boy. I've trained 10 years of fisticuffs.
You fight as well as you fly. This shouldn't take long.
On guard.
Don't know how I'm supposed to fight him.
Men, come out here and help me. I'll double your wages.
Oh, crap. It's not what you want. Oh, lordy.
To all, earn your pay.
Tried to avoid that, couldn't. Come on. Okay. That's not what you want. Crap. Dang it.
Victory.
It's boss battles, man. It's not in your favor.
He's a master boxer. Wait till he commits to a big punch, then strike.
Fight. Defend your leader.
Come on, come on. Rousing punch in the face. Rousing punch in the face. Maybe some health would be nice. Ah, crap. Really? No health? Oh. I can take a jab or two. I can't take your super punches, bro. Crap. Oh, almost got hit.
A fatal blow.
Plot twist.
You win, Cooper.
Wait, you? You're Penelope, the Baron's mechanic.
What?
No, you are the Black Baron.
Someone was bound to find out sooner or later. Guess I'm kind of relieved.
But why?
Look, let's talk on the ground where it's safe.
Man, she must have some serious pull, bro. Wow. Good for her. Other states, Wyoming, Wisconsin, Washington, Utah, all those western states that a lot of people thought Republicans would probably get, they're all decided about between, again, 10 to 30,000 votes. Again, it just shifts. A lot of people, unfortunately, just end up going towards the Democratic Party for the for this particular election. So Truman wins pretty decisively, although there's obviously contested stuff with this election and all these elections. Everyone claiming fraudulency, usually Democrats, but pretty much everyone just claiming, oh, this wasn't up on the ups and ups, yada yada yada. You know how it goes. You know how it goes.
However, after winning, the Baron became a celebrity, and she found herself putting on the costume more and more often.
No more Red Baron, Penelope.
Black Baron out of the picture, she was free to take up a new path, and she joined the gang without hesitation.
Oh, Bentley seems down.
Treated us to a week-long aerial tour of Holland.
Seems a little butthurt.
Just fine.
That's basically the election of 1948, folks. Get your papers here. We'll end this part here. God bless. Y'all like and subscribe. Y'all rock. Y'all cool people. Later, y'all.